Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I remember a long time ago, which was about a year, almost a year and a half ago, I made a video on the communist system in China or something like that, where I was talking about the communist system being a bad system, which I still know it is. How do I know? I read, and we have evidence to support all those. And not only a bad system, it's a criminal system. You may like it, that's fine with me, but I remember I have some Chinese friends who told me about the China's successes, economic successes, and so on, which, okay, yeah, that's true, but still, that's a uni-party system. That means it's only one option you have by some people, a certain group of people that are not elected by the people that they lead, they order down. So from the very beginning, the whole thing is not kosher, okay? It's like, for instance, in old days with the mafia in certain, let's say, Chicago, you go and buy booze, you buy food and all that, but that was part of a connection that you were not aware of all kind of gangs competing for influence. So you were buying certain product that looked just fine, legitimate, but the whole thing was a criminal organization. Okay, so that's why I say it's not only China. It's not about China here. It's about the system, which is a communist. Not good. You can't make me change my mind. The evidence is there. Now, what happened? I would have to say that the communist system is as it is, and I would not really, I remember it was a time when the Western countries would not do business with China because China is and was a communist country. Remember? They would not invest, they would not do that, and so on. All of a sudden they do it, and the reason why they were saying they were not doing business with China, one of the reasons, was their human rights record, saying that's a communist system, tra-la-la, lululu, uni-party system, no election, no freedom, no this, no that, controlled by the government, and so on. All right, well, it seems like things changed, and you know what changed? Greed. Greed allowed now, and not only for about what? 30 years, at least 30 years, investments in China. Okay, well, that's fine. If you want to invest over there, it's a free world. I'm just bringing you a little bit of history to get you to this little article here that a lot of people will probably celebrate. Let me show you. So the article comes from the New York Times, and it's titled Volkswagen sells its Russia operations, including an assembly plant. The German automaker, which quit making cars in Russia after the invasion of Ukraine, said it had sold its plant to a local auto dealership chain. So Volkswagen is out because they say, well, you are bad people because of the war in Ukraine. All right, so that means they are very, very ethical and moral, like the bank that kicked Nigel Farage out. Coots, is that how it is? Again, they had values. And someone said, no, you should not have any values. You're a bank. Your only duty is to take care of my money in a confidential way, all right? And be certain that you give me when I want my money, and you do what the business required. You shouldn't have any values of political values, or no, that's not for that. It seems like these guys have ethics regarding politics. Okay, Volkswagen, you say, well, okay, that's their decision. Yes, but also I can analyze their decision. And I think, all right, you think the Russians are bad because they unprovoked, that's the key word. If you don't use that one, they're going to jail you. Just kidding. Unprovoked attack of Ukraine, and the Germans are, very good people, and that's fine. All right, but hey, let me show you another article here. And I would believe them because of the Ukraine war if I wouldn't read this article from Sputnik. Volkswagen buys 5% stake in Chinese electric vehicle maker Xpeng, announces 2 new electric cars. So I started with the communists for this, not for this. All right? So yes, you are all fantastic, you are a good guy, you are a moral guy, you are an ethical guy, Volkswagen. All right? But if you are so moral, how come you do this with the communists? All right, nevertheless, they're gonna buy 5% stake. Let's read a little bit here. German automaker Volkswagen announced on Wednesday that it bought a 4.99% stake in Xpeng, a Chinese maker of high-end electric vehicles (EVs), for some $700 million. Okay? The two companies would jointly develop two B-class battery electric vehicles for the Chinese market by 2026. So they are a strategic technical collaboration effort. Okay? All right, the Volkswagen Group and Xpeng each brings in highly complementary strength into this long-term strategic partnership. We will share smart EV technologies and world-class design and engineering capabilities with each other and learn from each other. That's fine. That's what business means. But hey, how about these ones? Why not with this one? Oh, invasion of Ukraine. Yeah, for God's sake, but these guys are communists. Chinese automaker. Oh, Emil, you don't understand. Well, maybe I don't, but hey, I have values as well and ethics, okay? So if I don't do business with you because you're a rapist, I'm not gonna do business with you because you're a murderer. Correct? I can't do business with a murderer but not do business with a rapist. You can't. That's a crime both ways. It's a different kind of crime. I'm not saying which one is bigger and which one has more blood on their hand, Stalin or Mao. But anyway, we got the Great Leap and we got the other guy with Holodomor and others. Stalin was the Georgian. I have to bring that up because people have the misconception he was the Russian. And nevertheless, okay? So we got that settled. So Volkswagen, stop pretending. This is a weasel move. They can make the determination. If they would tell me, I do it to the Russians because I don't like their market. Fine, but I do it because of the war over there. But I'm going to do it with the Chinese because the Chinese are what? The company. Anyway, my friends, I don't like this kind of, virtue signaling little decisions here. And you know what's happening? The problem is that the Volkswagen was going to enter a partnership or whatever, a cooperation, however you want to call it, with the Chinese company. Good for them. Do you know where those cars are going to go? They're sold in Russia. It was I can't remember. It was an article that I read maybe 3 or 4 months ago saying that I think 40%, it was a switch between the Western automakers and the Chinese cars over there. So actually, with, like when you kick a ball, it goes like this, swirled like that. That's how they kick Volkswagen, their product, into Russia. Instead of shooting straight, like we invest here, we have here. No, we want to do it through China. Because China, that's how it's going to be. They're going to produce that with China, and China will sell it to Russia. Russia will sell China resources. China will pay them in yuan. These guys are going to use yuan for buzz, and that would be it. And everybody is moral and nice but the Russians, who are evil. Psst, psst, psst. Okay? Remember, a lot of people did a lot of business with those bad guys in Germany in 1930s and 1940s, including that guy called Prescott Bush. Just check him out. Mr. Prescott Bush was a banker during those times. So he did some little hanky-panky with some, Germans during those times. You might want to check that out, okay? And he was not the only one. Even Ford did, but hey, Ford was an anti-this and anti-that. If you remember, Ford had one of these guys' painting on one of his office. And also, if you remember, Henry Ford, the Henry Ford, was awarded by the Germans the highest civilian medal of recognition, honor, blah, 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 blah. Again, well, what can you do with those, how are they called? Dearborn Inquirer, Dearborn, what was the newspaper that he had in Dearborn, Michigan? Anyway, my friends, doing business with evil people happened all the time, including the US. The US did some business with the Soviets during the height of the Cold War. And how? Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, I think it's Coca-Cola, one of these two, had businesses with the Soviet Union up until they collapsed. They still had, and it's not only that. The same with Romania, with the communist countries. They had American stuff. They were doing all kind of hanky-panky. I know firsthand, my father had a direct example with, if you remember those calculators, computers, how you want to call it, they were used to be called Felix, or like big, like a big, how do you call it, where you put your clothes in, armchair, not armchair, at least armchair, what the hell, English, I can't remember how you call it, where you put the clothes in, like a closet, big as a closet. I saw them with those things rotating and all that. Those are Felix computer, American. They gave that to the Romanians. The Romanians, then whatever they had the technology, they came and brought them today. In 3 days, the Soviets came over there and they were looking into, and they would get one with them. That happened in Romania, and not only that, it was and the Americans knew, the Soviets knew, and that was stealing or whatever. But also, the Americans would not give the latest thing to the Romanians because they knew the Russians will look into it. But they were doing business here. So Volkswagen, I think, is just a weasel way of being virtuous. Don't be attacked by anybody, and with the effect, like a boomerang go, not a boomerang doesn't come back, but anyway, like I explained, with shooting the ball, going like that, boom, and end up in the corner of the post. That's what they do. No, Russians are bad, but hey, the communist China is good. You gotta be kidding me. And for those people who tell me about the Chinese, without the Western with investments and technology, look at 1970s China, okay? Do you think I'm bad? Well, that's evidence. It's not me saying that just because I'm a bad person. I'm just, counter certain people who say, you have been to China lately? No, I have been to China. It's fantastic. Certain parts are fantastic of China. Certain parts, the coastal ones, they look good, almost Western. But hey, why would you copy that? Anyway, it's much more. And I'm not here to bash China. I'm here to bash Volkswagen. And these guys who think that they are morally superior to others, or at least they are afraid that they will be called anti-this and that, they are like servants. No balls and no character doing that. You try to say that you have character, but how do you have character? No, Russia, but I invest in China. Okay, all right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I'm not going to invest in Mussolini's Italy, but I'm going to invest in Hitler's Germany, or vice versa. Don't get all uptight with the comparison who was the worst one. Okay. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.